Dear name, I've sat with these words for what seems like an eternity, wrestling with the terror of how they might shatter the delicate trust we've built. I know you have been waiting for the truth, a truth that is as raw as it is painful, and I know how important honesty is to you. Yet, each time I try to speak it aloud, my heart quivers with the fear of the inevitable hurt it will cause you. Please understand that it is not my desire to wound you, it is the heavy burden of my own guilt that forces me to reveal what I have long hidden in the recesses of my conscience. I remember the moment when everything began to unravel, a moment that, in hindsight, was both subtle and foreboding. I recall the way your eyes sparkled with kindness, the earnest hope in your smile, and the open heart you so willingly offered to me. You trusted me completely, allowing me into your inner world without reservation. In those early days, I was intoxicated by the warmth of your affection and the simplicity of our connection. Yet even then, a darker part of me was already at work, slowly consuming the very essence of what you so generously gave. The truth as it stands is that I used you. I took advantage of the kindness and trust you extended to me, all for the sake of my own selfish desires. In the quiet moments, when the world around me was still and your laughter echoed in my memory, I would remind myself that you were merely a means to an end, a source of comfort in a life that often felt empty. I manipulated your good nature to suit my immediate whims, never pausing long enough to consider the long-term consequences of my actions. Instead of cherishing you for who you are, I saw you as an object, a tool to fill the void inside me. I remember countless times when you offered me your support, your undivided attention, and your unwavering faith, only for me to discard them in pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The way you trusted me was both beautiful and tragic. I was selfish, blinded by my own desires, and I failed to recognize the profound significance of your feelings. I never cared enough to stop and consider how my actions would impact you over time, and for that, I am deeply sorry. Now, as I write these words, I feel the weight of my transgressions bearing down on me like an insurmountable mountain. Each regret is a stone added to the load I must carry, and with every stone, the truth becomes more tangible and more terrifying. I am haunted by the memory of every time I disregarded your feelings, every instance where your trust was betrayed by my reckless abandon. I am tormented by the knowledge that in my pursuit of momentary satisfaction, I have inflicted wounds that may never fully heal. I know you deserve so much more than the half-hearted affection and the careless promises I offered. You gave me the very essence of your heart, a treasure that should have been guarded with the utmost care, and in return, I treated it as if it were disposable. My actions were driven by a desire to satisfy my own needs, without any thought of the lasting damage they might cause. It was a foolish, selfish game in which I lost sight of what truly matters. In my relentless quest for personal gratification, I betrayed the very foundation of our relationship, and that betrayal is something I can never erase. Every moment since has been a relentless struggle with remorse and regret. I have spent countless sleepless nights consumed by the thought of how deeply I have hurt you and the fear that the truth will forever change the dynamics between us. I am terrified of the idea that once you know everything, the extent of my deception, the depth of my selfishness, you might come to despise me. The very thought of losing you, of seeing the light in your eyes dim because of my actions, is a torment I can hardly bear. There were times I attempted to justify my behavior, convincing myself that my needs were as important as yours, that I was entitled to your kindness and compassion. But those justifications now ring hollow, drowned out by the stark reality of my actions. I understand now that no amount of self-deception can make up for the irreversible damage I have done. The more I reflect on the past, the more I realize that every moment of betrayal, Every time I chose to prioritize my own desires over your well-being has led me to this moment of profound sorrow. I wish I could go back and undo every mistake, to mend the shattered pieces of your trust with tender care and unyielding sincerity. Yet I know that the past is immutable, and the damage is already done. The truth, as painful as it is, must be acknowledged and faced if there is any hope for healing, even if that healing comes with an unbearable price. I am writing this not only to confess my wrongdoings, but also to express the depths of my regret and sorrow. I want you to understand that this confession is not a cry for forgiveness. It is an admission of my failings, a desperate attempt to unburden myself of the lies and deceit that have weighed on my soul for far too long. I know that by admitting my faults, I might be setting in motion a chain of events that could lead to irrevocable changes in our relationship. And yet, I cannot continue to hide behind the facade of a charade, pretending that everything is as it should be when, in reality, I have been the architect of our mutual pain. It is not easy to face the truth, and I know that revealing it will undoubtedly bring you pain. The thought of witnessing the hurt in your eyes, of knowing that I am the cause of that hurt, is unbearable. I have spent so long trying to avoid this moment, hoping that somehow the truth might remain hidden in the shadows. But the shadows have grown too long, and the light of reality can no longer be ignored. As I write these words, my heart is heavy with sorrow, and my mind is a swirling vortex of regret and self-recrimination. I have come to understand that trust is a fragile gift, one that should be nurtured and protected rather than exploited for selfish gain. You gave me your trust without question, without reservation, and I treated it as though it were nothing more than an opportunity for my own indulgence. For that, I am deeply and irrevocably sorry. I recognize that my confession may not change the past, and it may not even mend the deep wounds I have inflicted upon you. But I believe that truth, however painful, is a necessary step toward healing. I stand before you, vulnerable and unguarded, asking for nothing more than the chance to be honest. I cannot undo the hurt that has been done, but I can promise you that I will spend every day of my life striving to become a better person, one who values honesty and respect above all else. I understand if you need time to process this revelation, if you need space to grieve the loss of the idealized version of our relationship that you once held dear. I am prepared to accept any consequences that come from this truth, even if it means that our paths may ultimately diverge. The fear of losing you has been a constant companion, a silent witness to the mistakes I have made. And yet, I know that avoiding the truth would be an even greater betrayal of your trust, a betrayal that would compound the damage already done. In these long, agonizing moments of self-reflection, I have come to realize that my actions were not just a lapse in judgment. They were a fundamental failure to appreciate the sanctity of the bond we shared. I have taken for granted the extraordinary gift of your presence, and in doing so, I have diminished the beauty of what we once had. The remorse that now fills me is both a punishment and a lesson that I hope will guide me away from repeating the same mistakes in the future. I am painfully aware that words alone cannot heal the wounds I have inflicted, nor can they undo the harm that has been done. But please know that this confession is my sincerest attempt at taking responsibility for my actions. I am not asking for immediate forgiveness, for I know that forgiveness must be earned through consistent actions and unwavering commitment to change. All I ask is for you to consider this truth, as painful as it is, as a step toward a more honest, albeit uncertain future. I am sorry for the nights I lost your trust, for the days I misused your kindness, and for every moment that I chose my own desires over your well-being. I am sorry for the betrayal, for the deceit, and for the sorrow I have caused you. I hope that in time, you might find it in your heart to see that my confession comes from a place of deep remorse and a genuine desire to make amends, even if that path is fraught with pain and regret. Thank you for reading these words, for enduring the weight of my truth. I know that I have a long journey ahead, a journey of self-forgiveness, of redemption, and of rebuilding the trust I so carelessly shattered. I only hope that one day, the light of honesty can bring us a measure of healing, even if the scars of the past remain as a reminder of the cost of my mistakes. With a heavy heart and a sincere desire to change, your name.